commissioners here this afternoon to introduce themselves. And tonight I will start from my right and the audience left with other members introducing themselves.
Dallas Hanbury.
Carol King.
Michelle Browder.
James Long.
And again, I'd like to thank those of you who are viewing this meeting tonight. And as we do at every meeting, I would like to just read our statement here. The Historic Preservation Commission is a 9-member board appointed by the City Council and serves on a voluntary basis without compensation. The purposes of the commission are to promote the educational, cultural, economic, and general welfare of the city through the preservation and protection of buildings, sites, structures, areas, and districts of historic significance and interest through the preservation and enhancement of local historic, architectural, archaeological, and aesthetic heritage found in the city, through the maintenance of the distinctive character of the city's historic districts, and through the promotion and enhancement of the city's historic and aesthetic attraction to tourists and visitors. With that being said, we'd like to start our meeting out this afternoon, and to all of our commissioners, you have a copy of our minutes of the last meeting, and the chair will now entertain a motion for the adoption of those minutes.
I move we adopt the minutes of the last October meeting.
Second that.
Is there any unreadiness? Any unreadiness? All those in favor, let it be known by a show of hands. Motion carried. Thank you very much. As we proceed with our agenda for this afternoon, our committee updates, our sign committee assignments for 2022. The assignments are to be presented at our December meeting. Krista, do you have any comments on that before we move forward?
No, and I should have probably structured that a little better and separated that out. So I have ordered the signs that you all approved last month, and we will present those to the property owners next month at our meeting. And I think I mentioned last time that I've worked in our new members to the sign committee so they can serve with some people who have been through the ringer at least once for next year. So that's what we'll be looking at for reviewing sign applications. I believe it's March 1 is our next deadline.
Is that the deadline? Okay.
Yeah,
That was my question. And then they'll be given out May at the preservation?
June.
Oh, okay.
We kept it separate from the preservation
Okay.
awards program, assuming we do that.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Any comments or questions you have for Christy? All right, none. Thank you very much, Christy. Sign 2022, Melissa Bailey, James Long, and Carol King. Melissa Bailey is not here tonight, but we do have James Long and Carol King here. Anyone wants to say anything?
No, sir, but after the first of the year, we'll, contact the historic neighborhoods to solicit applications. And probably, I'm thinking in December, I'll get a list of names from you, Christy, and addresses, and maybe send it out to the historic neighborhoods too, like congratulations to blah, blah. At such and such.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do a little pre-marketing.
Okay, all right. Commissioner Long, any comments?
No.
Okay, all right. Anyone has a question to these two commissioners? Any question? All right, Fall 2022, Michelle Browder, Richard Bailey, and Brian Mann. We have with us tonight Michelle Browder and Richard Bailey.
I guess yours are due in September 1, I guess.
September?
I believe so. September 1.
September 1 will be your deadline, and then they'll be given out December 1
Okay, all right.
of 2022.
Chris, is there anything on our website regarding our signs?
Yes.
There is.
The
So we
application The application is online. Y'all have a section under our department portion of the website. So yes, there's information on the signs. It includes information on how to do research and resources to look at, because we really, 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 really do want to encourage people to not just submit a blank application, because that's what most of them do. We want them to dig in and learn about their property.
Right. We'd like to encourage all of our viewers to go to our website and take a peep at our signs. And if you are not interested, if you know someone who's interested, direct those individuals to our website. And if you have a question, you can call Christy Anderson or Paula Wade with the City of Montgomery, or you can contact any of the other commissioners, including myself for that matter, who are seated here this afternoon. But we want to encourage everyone to take a look at our signs and see how that sign might impress you in terms of what we do, because we want to get everybody involved with what we do regarding our signs. So no one is left out. Just look at our website, and as I say, if you have any questions, just pick up the phone and call somebody and let that person know what your level of interest is, and we'll take it from there. We'd be more than happy to answer whatever questions that you might have, so we can let you know what we do and how we are here for you with our sign committees. Okay, anyone has anything to say regarding signs generally? Any, something about your experience with signs or whatever the case might be?
Well, I think it's just a good way an easy way for the community to participate in what we do. And it's an empowering experience, I think, to do the research about your property and become a little more invested in it. So I encourage you to take part in the sign process that we have.
Surely. Okay. But contact any of us, and we will be more than happy to get you involved and try to respond to your question and point you in the right direction as need be. Other business, the MAPCO update.
They have delayed their rezoning request, which was supposed to be heard next week. We are anticipating that the ARB and rezoning request will go to public hearings in December. At this point, the Cottage Hill Foundation is opposed to the rezoning request, primarily because Cottage Hill, as is downtown, is governed by form-based code, or SMART code. And the intent of SMART code is to encourage more pedestrian-friendly development, which is really kind of restoring the urban form to what it was when it was originally constructed and not so heavily auto-oriented. And at this point, MAPCO is requesting to go under conventional zoning for B3, which we discussed a little bit last month, which would open it up to a whole bunch of other uses should that gas station fail in that location. And that is not an unreasonable concern given the poor traffic pattern at that location, that it's going to be a property that's very difficult to get in and out of. So that's where we are. We have not seen any additional renderings or site plans or anything that indicates that they've addressed any concerns or suggestions that we have made to them.
Okay.
Christy, do you know what date that is?
What date, what is?
That hearing will be?
ARB will be December 15th if they submit. Planning Commission has a weird date. I think it's like the two, I'll have to look.
The 10th is a Friday, so the 12th will be Sunday. The 15th should be Wednesday.
ARB is Wednesday the 15th.
Yes.
Usually we meet the fourth Tuesday, but that's the week of Christmas, so we bump it back.
But
I'm bringing my calendar up. Hang on a second.
the decision-making, I mean, like right now is planning though, not ARB, right?
Well, there has been discussion about asking the Planning Commission to hold a decision or a recommendation on rezoning until the Architectural Review Board is satisfied.
Oh, okay.
Because if they can't build it, there's no point in rezoning it.
Well, that's true. Okay.
All right. Any questions anyone has or comments?
Well,
Yes.
I'm still concerned, of course, about that project up there that they're building. Now, you said the hearing is the 15th. That will be after our December meeting,
Yes.
if we have one.
Well, we've got to hand out signs, so we'll have to have a meeting in December, if for no other reason than to hand out signs.
That's right.
But I guess my submission deadline is November 22nd. And if we get something, I can certainly make that available to you to look at, if that would help you formulate any. I gave them the 10 pages of comments that I wrote for the agenda that they withdrew from. Usually I write like 2 sentences of comments on ARB submissions. This was 10 pages long. So I would be happy to provide you with whatever material you think might be useful to help you formulate what your thought process might be in terms of supporting the neighborhood.
Well, that's where I'm certainly leaning towards wanting to support them, so I can understand what the position is. Because I understand that there were discussions at one time about some sort of architectural changes and stuff, but that never got anywhere. I just want to sort of see where it is. What is being proposed finally?
Yeah, and we don't know yet. The neighborhood is not opposed to a gas station per se. They are concerned, they have explicitly noted that they do not want it to look like every other gas station at every other interstate exit you get off at, that it needs to fit into an urban neighborhood. I don't know, this was originally supposed to come before us in September. I don't know if they've spent this time reworking the plan or if they've spent the time trying to work it a different way. We've been asked about carving it out of the district, which can't be done legally. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to get, if we're going to get, or if someone's going to try to make a different move in a different direction.
But you will know on November 22nd what their intent is.
I'll know the 22nd whether I have something or not, yeah.
So we have a chance to review it and then make some comments at our next meeting.
Right.
Is it appropriate for us to comment at the Planning Commission? Does that make sense?
I don't see why not.
So that's to think about too. We could create a statement or something at our next meeting to be read. Well, I don't know. That would have to be on the agenda though, wouldn't it? Or
No.
would it be public comment? Okay.
It'd be public comment.
So that's to think about when we see what Christie sends us after she gets their submissions.
Yeah.
So,
I did go through and map out the other vacant lots in that 3 block corridor, which of course is capped at the other end by the Capitol Insight. Where we had an owner tell City Council, if only I had a vacant lot, I could sell it, and I could get it developed, and it's 5-6 years down the road, and it's still an empty lot, and you could still buy it if you'd like to. But there are a number of lots that would be really easy to aggregate in that area with a sacrificial building or two, where a fast food place could easily go in, that type of thing. So this piece is really critical to get right, because if we get it wrong, then the next one's going to be wrong,
You
and
set
the next
precedent.
one's going to be wrong, and there will be a next one. Someone's already asked about the property across the street and doing the same kind of thing with the rezoning. So it's already starting to percolate with that Whitewater Park under development. I think
I
it's
hadn't thought about that.
yeah,
Everybody's trying to get in on it.
yep.
So once it's broken through on this,
It would
The
be very
floodgates are
difficult to
open.
stop.
for, you know,
So I can certainly, when I get the submission, they've been giving it to me electronically through a Dropbox that I've downloaded and made available to the neighborhood on OneDrive, and I can share that with y'all too.
All right. Any other question or any comment? Okay. Thank you very much. Annual plan?
I handed out something that came up on a listserv. They call it a SOAP, strategy on a page, and we've talked about this in years past about setting forth some goals of things to accomplish during the year. So I just gave this to you as an example, and you should have gotten in your packet something that the city of, or the Huntsville Historic Foundation, or Historic Huntsville Foundation created. It's kind of an activity book, we've talked about coloring books before, but activity book with some of their buildings downtown to teach some vocabulary and point out some details and that sort of thing. It's just an idea of something that could be done. This is the sort of thing that could be funded through a certified local government grant under the education and outreach portion of that grant. And I had asked that we spend this next year kind of thinking about those types of projects that we might want to apply for grant funds for, focusing on education in this grant cycle. So,
and there may be some AHC come August too. You know, sometimes they have an educational component, sometimes they don't.
yeah.
So that's you know, especially being a CLG, that's going to give have a little bit of influence this time. Maybe.
Comments? Anyone has a comment?
I really like this. I really like this soap. I think if nothing else, instead of reinventing the wheel, we can kind of look at it and it's got lots of good verbs in there, and tailor it to some of the things that we
Yeah, and
are
it's
thinking about.
it's clear that LaGrange, their HPC also serves the function of the ARB where ours is split up. So it does address things that y'all don't do, but I liked it because it's kind of it's very visual versus just a list of things. Not that pretty colors necessarily make it better, obviously, but if it's something that I don't know, I know I tend to be more visual. You know, I can pay attention to things better if they look like this versus looking like, what's up on the screen.
Is this
So,
a PDF?
it is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like to rearrange.
I'm sure if we reached out to them, we could probably get a file that we could edit.
Well, she sent it to me. I mean, I got it directly from them,
Okay. Yeah, we can break it down.
and that's what they sent.
Oh, okay. Comments, question, anyone?
So is this like something we're gonna do? Or are we just talking about it, or?
Well,
I'm asking you once again to consider developing an annual plan of things that the HPC could accomplish.
I like the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
So,
And there may be some things on here that are good ideas, or, for example, Partner for Preservation. Collier came last month to talk. Do we Do we want to say they are the preservation organization and they will have a slot? Do we want to have neighborhood forums? Do we want to invite the historic districts to the December meeting to discuss the MAPCO issue? Because the implications are greater than just for Cottage Hill. We have fended off requests for rezoning and redevelopment at a corner in the Garden District at South Court Street and Fairview. And if MAPCO, if City Council lets MAPCO do what they want, we don't have a leg to stand on to hold that corner.
Right.
So, you know, that sort of thing where we have maybe a community forum to discuss some of these issues. And granted, we go several years without really having a big issue, but when we do have a big issue, it sure seems to be a doozy one.
Well, this boils down to are you proactive or reactive? You know, now right now we're reactive, but like you said, this is a very big decision because it will set a precedent that will affect all the other historic neighborhoods and or sites.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, so I think the thing to do is to get this file, break it down, and all of us could just kind of work on it, kind of rearrange some ideas and for the next meeting for sure.
And I will email this to everybody, and I will also send out the list of powers and duties that is defined by code of what you all can and are supposed to be doing. And let your creative juices work on mashing both of those together.
Yep, import. That's a good idea.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Krista, do you have any closing comments?
Well,
I
sorry,
don't think so.
I was just going to say we're starting to look at the next year's preservation.
Oh yeah, decide if you want to do preservation awards in May.
Well, and or the class in April.
I'm not doing the class in April.
Right, because Carter, we're talking about it. So that has been a discussion. We're starting to discuss that.
Okay, so that would be a landmarks function
Right.
this time.
Right.
Because I'm not doing the class again this year.
Yeah. So we've started to discuss the format and the time frame and all of that too. So that's kind of in the works.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Any comments from our other commissioners? Anyone like to bring anything to our attention before we leave? That being said, meeting hereby adjourned. Thank you so much for coming out.